Hey again, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that session on building biotech in India. As we discussed on that panel, one of the major components of building the deep tech or the biotech ecosystem in India to the point where we're able to support the manufacturing landscape and the research landscape, not just in India, but globally, one of the major components for that is a supply of talent. We have the capability of catalyzing that supply of talent in India. We know that we have fantastic tissue engineering institutes, agri-biotech institutes, but we perhaps need to think about applying that talent within sectors like alternative protein, smart protein, so that it is aligned with building a more healthy, sustainable, and just future of food. To that end, as you know, we have many illustrious and inspiring speakers at the Smart Protein Summit, not least of whom is Honorable Suresh Prabhu, the current respected emissary from India to the G7 and G20 summits. Suresh Prabhu has been credited with many achievements in diplomacy and governance over a long career, including serving as the former Union Power, Railway, Commerce and Industry, and Civil Aviation Ministries, as well as the Environment Ministry. So he has a keen sense of what needs to happen for a more sustainable and resilient future. He has been elected to the Lok Sabha numerous times and is an active member of the Rajya Sabha Assembly, the upper house of parliament, consistently featuring in the list of top 5 ministers in terms of performance and accessibility. He's a part of 16 global organizations and 9 strategic dialogues, including the UN Development Programme, UN Committee of Biodiversity, and the World Economic Forum, to name a few. Now, needless to say, we're thrilled to have a message from Suresh Prabhu. We asked him to record something that would send an inspiring note to many of the students and the young folks who are participating in the summit and in our other initiatives to frame the problem of why we're looking to target alternative protein as a solution for the next decade. I hope you'll enjoy this message from Honorable Suresh Prabhu, and please, of course, stay tuned for the next Innovators Showcase session coming up right after. Thank you.
Happy that you organized this Smart Protein Summit today. As we know, we cannot survive without food, but food alone doesn't make us healthy people. We need balanced, nutritious diet, and one of the key components of that diet is proteins. The source of protein is either from animals or from fish or from some other plant-based diets. In India, we have large number of population who take proteins from plant-grown varieties. Whether it is different kinds of dals, as we call them, the lentils, and we try to survive on that. But globally, the food will be required for our sustenance. But if you really look at the broader ecosystem of the world, how do you make that food available? Many of us who eat animals are conscious of the fact that when we eat animal meat, we have to feed the animal probably several times more to get a kg of meat from that. So 1 kg of meat, I will need several kilograms of food grains to be produced to feed them. To produce that many kilograms of food, we need so much of water. We need so much of land. And to sustain and make that agriculture, we also use a lot of nutrients, micronutrients, to provide soil security. All of that put together, we use a lot of energy and resources of the planet to create 1 kilo of meat. The huge amount of resources are used. Can we therefore now think about a very sustainable food habits, sustainable ecosystem, which can feed everybody, but and not keep anybody hungry, but at the same time will not create a system whereby all of us will get extinct one day. But the dimension of that is climate change. For food, we need water, and climate change is going to threaten water availability in a significant way. In short term, there will be too much of water because of glaciers melting. The rivers will be overflowing, and eventually the rivers will also go into the ocean, so ocean's height also will rise. That's one part. But because of the changing weather pattern which climate change will cause, There will be too much of water for some time, but there will be no water for a long time. So that is also going to create drought-like situation. So food availability will be a problem. Again, the climate change is accentuated by several reasons, and one of these is methane. One of the greenhouse gas is methane, and methane is emitted from some of the grazing, some of the dairying, some of the hydroelectric plant, that's where the water storage is. So I think we'll have to think about a proper sustainable lifestyle, sustainable food habits, and to do that, we'll have to think about how to get proteins for everybody without causing attendant problems, affecting the food cycle, affecting the ecosystem. And to do that, I'm sure we can find out solution by looking at own Indian culture, but not just Indian culture, our ancient thinking, which helped the people on the planet to survive for so long. It's true, they hunted, they were the foragers, but they also knew one important element of it, that how to maintain the balance. Of course, it's also true that some of our ancestors, several thousand years ago, they destroyed good part of biodiversity. But what they destroyed in probably few centuries, we have done a marvelous job of destroying several times more in the matter of few decades. And therefore, as that has happened, which again is causing another problem related to climate change, that means we are destroying carbon sinks. We are destroying biodiversity. And all of that going away, without biodiversity, there will not be agriculture. We forget the fact, we think that only land can produce food. It is not true. The pollination that needs to happen for agriculture to survive, there is already a very important link between agriculture and wilderness. We cannot have only agriculture as a monoculture unless we think about its broader impact on the entire ecosystem. So I think all of that put together, we'll have to factor in the very important aspect of environmental concerns, protection of biodiversity, addressing climate change, ensuring the kind of food that we eat, ensuring that we don't kill so many animals and don't live on the animals' meat all the time. All of that put together will ensure that we'll get enough proteins, but at the same time, first body will remain, as human beings will remain, so that we can have the food to eat. So all the best to you. Once again, congratulations for organizing this very important event on proteins, which I'm sure will help us go a long way. Just last point, which I should have mentioned earlier, is the problem. One of the source of protein is also fish. And the entire climate change, as I said, the sea level rise, as well as the oceans warming, is also going to destroy the animal, the fish habitat. The marine life will disappear. And that is also going to put a serious threat on availability of proteins for the large population of the world. And good part of the world population lives around the coast. So others live around the rivers, many live around the coast. Both will be affected, because rivers will be affected because of no water available because of climate change. Oceans will be affected because of acidification, as well as sea level rise, which is going to happen. So I think all of that put together, we'll have to keep all this in mind. All the best to you. Thank you very much.